Hello and welcome to Cooking Lessons for Dad. My name is Karen Breyer and today we are going to make Italian navy bean soup with rosemary. This soup is so delicious, my husband keeps asking me to make it for him, so he'll be glad I made it today. And you're gonna love it too. So the ingredients in this recipe are olive oil, diced onion, diced celery, diced carrots, minced garlic, and an instant chicken seasoning or broth, water, diced tomatoes, navy beans, canned navy beans, oregano, rosemary, salt, pepper, and kale. So I've already got the vegetables diced up. That's the hardest thing that you have to do. If you can clean and dice vegetables, this is easy. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to heat our olive oil in a large pot over medium heat. So we need 1 to 2 teaspoons of olive oil, and I'll put like 1.5. Oh, that was almost 2. It's okay. So we're going to go ahead and turn the pan on to medium heat now. And when the pan gets hot, we're going to go ahead and add the onions, the celery, the carrots, and the garlic. So we'll just wait a minute while it heats up. Okay, so the pan feels hot. We're going to go ahead and add the onions. You need 1.5 to 2 cups, and this is almost 2 cups. That might be a little too high. I'll turn it down a bit. Okay, so next you need 1 cup of diced celery and 2 cups of diced carrots and 1 tablespoon of minced garlic. And you can use fresh minced or a jar. I'm just using the jar because it's easy. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and saute all these vegetables until the onions are soft. So we'll keep an eye on the onions. You want to keep stirring it occasionally. Okay, the onions are looking pretty soft. So we're going to go ahead and add the water and the chicken seasoning. We have 6 cups of water. There's 4 and 2. And then we have 6 teaspoons of chicken style instant broth and seasonings. You could use different brands. This one is good because there's no preservatives. It's actually vegetarian, no MSG. Anyways, we could use 6 teaspoons. You could also use 2 tablespoons, which is the same as 6 teaspoons. I'll do that. You could also use liquid chicken broth in place of the water and chicken seasoning. You could use 6 cups of liquid chicken broth. So let's go ahead and stir that up. So next we're going to go ahead and add a 15-ounce can of diced tomatoes. You want to add the tomatoes and the juice. Go ahead and stir that up. And next 2 teaspoons of dried oregano. And if you decide to use fresh, remember fresh is 3 times the amount of dried. And I'm actually going to use fresh rosemary. So it calls for 1 teaspoon of dried. But 1 teaspoon is the same as 3 teaspoons of fresh, so or a tablespoon. So I'm going to add that. We're going to go ahead and stir that. So we're going to stir this and we're going to simmer this for 30 minutes. So we need to bring it back up to a simmer. Once it gets there, we need to maintain it for 30 minutes. So we'll keep a good eye on it. Okay, so our Italian navy bean soup with rosemary has come to a simmer. So I'm going to set the timer for 30 minutes. We're going to let it simmer for 30 minutes, but you got to keep an eye on it, stir it once in a while and make sure it doesn't come to a boil or the simmer goes too low. So we'll be back in 30 minutes. Okay, so our soup has been cooking for 30 minutes. We're going to go ahead and add the navy beans, the kale, the salt, and the pepper. So we have 2 cans of rinsed and drained navy beans. You could also use white beans, other white beans. I just rinsed them under running water and drained them. Next, you want to add 6 cups of chopped kale. And the kale will cook down as it cooks. So it looks like a lot of kale, but it's not. It will cook down, and you'll see. Next, we need to add salt and pepper. So we're gonna add a half a teaspoon of salt. Next, we're gonna add a half a teaspoon of ground pepper and just kind of add it to taste. We can also add more pepper at the end too. So we're gonna go ahead and cook our soup till the beans are heated through and the kale is cooked to desired tenderness. You don't want to overcook the kale, you don't want it to end up olive green, you still want it to be green when you're done. So we'll be back in a few minutes and try our soup. Okay, so our soup is done. The kale is cooked and the beans are hot. Everything is looking good. I'm gonna try a little bit to check the seasoning, so I'll just try a little bit of the broth and see if I want to add more salt or pepper. It's actually perfect. Remember, the chicken seasonings has a little salt, the beans might have a little salt, the tomatoes might add a little salt. So you might or might not need more salt. So I am ready to try the soup. Looks pretty hot, looks delicious. Look how healthy this looks. This is delicious. It wasn't that hard. You just simmered some veggies, some beans. You can do it. Your family's gonna love it. You're gonna be surprised how wonderful it tastes. Okay, so try it this week. Let me know how it turns out. Have a great day. Okay, here we go. It's pretty hot. I might wait a minute. Okay. This is so good. Let me know how you like it. Bye.